The sky turned orange as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows over the savanna. A group of early humans, their bodies lean and scarred from years of survival, crouched silently by a cluster of trees. Suddenly, the earth trembled. The low growl wasn't thunder, it was something alive. A towering figure emerged from the mist, a massive Tyrannosaurus rex. Its golden eyes scanned the terrain, nostrils flaring. The humans froze. One wrong move, and they would be devoured in seconds. This wasn't a dream, and it wasn't a movie. It was the ultimate clash, an encounter that defied nature's timeline. Dinosaurs and prehistoric humans never walked the earth at the same time. They were separated by over 60 million years. But what if, through a freak rift in time, or an alternate history, they did? Who would rule the land? Could brute strength triumph over evolving intelligence? This thought experiment opens the door to an epic survival scenario, one where primal instinct meets cunning adaptation. The question isn't just who would win in a fight, it's who would outlast the other in the long run. Because in the wild, survival is never just about muscle, it's about mind, environment, will, and the courage to adapt quickly. Dinosaurs dominated the Earth during the Mesozoic era, a reign that lasted more than 160 million years. Their extinction was swift, triggered by a catastrophic asteroid impact 6 million years ago. Humans, in contrast, have existed for only about 2 million years. So, how could these two vastly different timelines ever intersect? Let's imagine a wormhole, a rift in space-time that pulls together species from different epochs. Suddenly, a Neanderthal tribe finds itself sharing a valley with creatures long thought extinct. T-Rex stomps the same grounds as saber-toothed cats and woolly mammoths. It's a scenario no scientist could ever prove, but one that captivates our imagination. Humans wouldn't know what hit them. A single encounter with a creature as deadly as a raptor or a Carnotaurus could wipe out an entire group. Yet humans are notoriously adaptable. We tamed fire, built tools, and outlived species far more powerful than ourselves. Would that be enough against the kings of the Mesozoic? Maybe the real question isn't who would dominate immediately, but who could adapt faster in the long term. In this imagined timeline, survival becomes the ultimate currency, and only the most versatile will prevail. Let's look at the humans first. Prehistoric humans weren't just hunters, they were strategists. Even without written language, they communicated through gestures, symbols, and primitive sounds. They crafted spears, stone axes, and traps. One human against a dinosaur, no chance. But a tribe working together, that's a different story. Early humans hunted mammoths, which weighed up to 12 tons more than a T-Rex. They used group tactics to exhaust their prey, lure them into bogs, or drive them off cliffs. They knew their environment intimately. They set up ambushes and waited for the perfect moment. Their most powerful weapon wasn't in their hands, it was in their minds. Intelligence, memory, cooperation, these were their tools. Fire gave them an edge. It could keep predators away, cook meat, and provide warmth. It was also terrifying to animals unfamiliar with it. If a pack of humans used fire against a dinosaur, it could create enough chaos for escape or even attack. Prehistoric humans also had a unique ability, storytelling. Lessons passed down from one generation to the next helped them remember danger, track patterns, and adapt. In time, these lessons could tip the scales toward survival and long-term victory. But we can't underestimate the sheer might of dinosaurs. A T-Rex had jaws strong enough to crush bone, with a bite force of over 12,000 pounds. That's more than any land predator today. It stood nearly 20 feet tall and ran up to 20 miles per hour, but fast enough to overtake a human in seconds. Then there's the Utah raptor, a terrifying cousin of Velociraptor, but much larger and deadlier. With razor-sharp claws and incredible speed, it could slash through prey with brutal efficiency. Dinosaurs didn't use tools, but they didn't need to. They were apex predators, born and shaped by millions of years of evolution. Some, like the Carnotaurus, had incredible speed. Others, like the Ankylosaurus, were walking tanks. Even herbivores could be dangerous. A human getting too close to a triceratops could be skewered like a twig. For humans used to lions and bears, facing dinosaurs would be like fighting living tanks or monsters. No amount of rocks or sticks would stop them in a straight fight. The balance was wildly uneven. Their skin, senses, and strength were all superior. But as powerful as they were, dinosaurs didn't understand strategy. They relied on instinct, and instinct isn't always enough. So, how would humans fight back? Not with strength, but with strategy. Imagine a group of humans discovering dinosaur patterns where they drink, rest, or hunt. Over time, they could set traps, dig pits, line them with sharp stakes, and bait them with food. Use fire to herd them toward cliffs or swamps. Attack only when the odds are favorable. Even modern lions are wary of humans, not because we're stronger, but because we're unpredictable. Dinosaurs had no concept of trickery. A fake decoy could lead a predator into danger. A noise in the bushes could distract it just long enough for others to attack. Prehistoric humans were also survivors. They knew how to move quietly, track footprints, and sense danger. They didn't need to kill a dinosaur, just avoid it long enough to stay alive. Over time, their tactics would improve. Just as we once hunted mammoths to extinction, humans could gradually learn how to defend themselves against dinosaurs. Evolution would take over. The smartest tribes would thrive. The boldest would perish. The humans who lasted would be the ones who learned fastest and passed those lessons on. In survival, intelligence is always sharper than tooth or claw. Environment plays a crucial role in survival. In dense forests, large predators like T-Rex would struggle. Their size would make it hard to move or spot agile prey. Here, humans have the advantage. They can hide, climb, and move quietly. In open plains, the tables turn. Dinosaurs can charge with full force, and humans are easier to spot. Mountains and rocky terrain favor humans again, places where dinosaurs can't easily follow or maneuver. Swamps could be a deadly trap for both, but humans might learn to use it strategically. Caves offer shelter, but also risk if a dinosaur finds the entrance. There's no escape. Meanwhile, dinosaurs are vulnerable to heat, cold, and starvation. Humans can store food, build shelters, and migrate. They can adapt their clothing and behavior. Dinosaurs, and as far as we know, couldn't. They were tied to their ecosystems. Change the environment, and you change the outcome of survival. That's the ultimate wild card in this battle adaptability. Who adjusts better to unfamiliar territory that might decide everything, not brute strength, not weapons, but who can adapt fast enough when the rules change. And in nature, the rules always do. Picture this: a Tyrannosaurus Rex stumbles upon a human camp near a riverbed. The tribe has been preparing for days. They've dug hidden pits, covered them with branches, and smeared animal fat around the perimeter. As the T-Rex approaches, it steps on unstable ground. Its foot plunges into the pit. It roars in pain and confusion. From the shadows, humans launch flaming spears, targeting its eyes. It thrashes, but the terrain works against it. This isn't a quick kill, but it's a victory of planning over instinct. Now imagine a different scene. A lone human, separated from the group, hears rustling in the ferns. A Utahraptor pounces. The human dives, rolls, grabs a sharp stone, and slashes wildly. It's messy and brutal. Maybe he escapes. Maybe not. These encounters show the fragile balance. One mistake, and it's over. But if humans have time to prepare, to learn, they stand a chance. They'll never overpower dinosaurs, but they don't need to. They just need to survive long enough to learn, adapt, and teach the next generation what works. These stories, passed on by firelight, become survival blueprints, and eventually, they shape the very culture of the tribe. Let's go further. What if dinosaurs and humans lived side by side for generations? Would humans find a way to domesticate smaller species? Could they learn to avoid larger predators completely? Or would it be a constant war, with humans slowly gaining ground as they developed better tools and tactics? Over time, fear might give way to understanding. Just as humans eventually tamed wolves into dogs, they might find a way to coexist with certain dinosaur species. But large carnivores like T-Rex would remain a deadly threat, unpredictable and untamable. It's also possible that dinosaurs would go extinct again, not from an asteroid, but from human strategy. Hunting, habitat destruction, and competition for food could take their toll. Just like we did with mammoths, saber-toothed cats, and giant ground sloths, humans might unintentionally wipe them out. Or perhaps dinosaurs would adapt too. Maybe some would evolve to become smaller, smarter, more elusive. Nature is always in motion. In this alternate timeline, both species would shape each other through conflict, competition, and maybe even cooperation. The battle would never be about one encounter. It would be a slow, evolving dance of dominance and survival instincts across centuries. Some might argue this is just fantasy, and they'd be right. There's no fossil evidence that humans and dinosaurs ever met. But that hasn't stopped the idea from captivating us. Stories of dragons, sea monsters, and giant beasts may be cultural echoes of this fear. Maybe ancient humans found dinosaur bones and imagined what creatures they came from. The concept lives on in books, movies, and art, from Jurassic Park to ancient myths. It taps into something primal, the idea of facing a force beyond comprehension. In science fiction, timelines blur. Maybe in some alternate universe, or on a distant planet, such a meeting happens. The what if matters more than the what was. It's not about rewriting history. It's about exploring human nature through impossible challenges. We tell these stories not to replace science, but to inspire wonder. And in doing so, we learn something about ourselves, our fears, our limits, and our drive to survive. Even if it's fiction, the question remains powerful. If we stood face to face with nature's greatest monsters, would we fall, or would we find a way to rise, adapt, and ultimately endure the impossible? In the end, the clash between dinosaurs and prehistoric humans is more than a battle of fang versus fire. It's a reflection of what makes us human. Dinosaurs were perfect for their time, powerful, efficient, unstoppable, but they couldn't adapt fast enough when the world changed. Humans, fragile and outmatched, survived not through strength, but through ingenuity. We learned, we shared, we remembered. That's our secret weapon. So who would survive? In the short term, many humans would fall. The price of learning is high. But over years, decades, generations, humans would adapt, build, and ultimately outlast even the deadliest predator.